For anyone familiar with racing, you'll know that the participants are ranked beforehand to determine their position on the day of the race. Let's take the example of a car race for now. All the cars race around the track individually, but depending on how fast or how slow they go, that will determine their position on the day of the rally. The competitors are then placed according to those trials. So some will get the front position and some will get the last position based on those scores. The positions are then announced before the rally or the race begins. So what has this got to do with Project Pipeline? Well, when we talk about human settlements, we're working with a similar concept. We look at each project. It could be a new project or an existing project. We look at each of them individually and how ready they are. And then we take all of that information and put it together on so-called race day and list them in order of priority, readiness, and how they are aiming to do. And we also put them in an order that meets provincial targets. So a province that wants to make sure that rural development is taking place will prioritize rural projects. If they're needing to make sure that the informal settlement upgrading happens, then they place informal settlement upgrading first. Then they do the other projects later in the pipeline. So what the Project Pipeline Management System does is to put the projects in an order based on what the priorities are both nationally and provincially, and to make sure that there's a good chance of meeting those targets. So coming back to our car rally, even though cars are placed in a certain order, things change, as some will go faster and some will go slower. The same thing happens when projects are being implemented. Some go faster and some go slower, and you often have to reprogram based on how the project is doing. The project pipeline means that at any point in the year, you know exactly what project is where in the overall delivery scheme, because forward planning gets projects implemented on time and within budget. The key objectives of Project Pipeline are: 1. Alignment to provincial strategic priorities. 2. To guide spending patterns for housing and human settlements development. 3. To manage underspending and underperformance. 4. To improve delivery and funding of projects for sustainable human settlements. The project's pipeline information management system will help the provincial departments and municipalities with the allocation of subsidy grants. It will make sure that the elements such as town planning, social issues, environmental and geotechnical issues are integrated into one solution. It will also improve forward planning and coordination. So, how do we do it? We start by scoping of departmental planning processes and project lists, engagements with internal divisions, classifying the data of the projects according to the various housing programs, listing projects according to readiness of services for water, electricity and sanitation and that are township approved, outlining the funding requirements for each prioritized project, verifying the projects on the ground. Based on the project status, indicate the possible timeframes for implementation of each project, linking the data with maps and reflect trend analysis, putting the database together that is the pipeline project, finalization and continuous upgrading of the pipeline project. So, much like the ranking of the cars in their race, we'll look at different projects in different municipalities and ask if they are ready or not ready and how they align and fit to various government targets and programs. That way, we can ensure that we know at a glance by looking at the various data what stage each project is in, and we can make informed decisions based on this knowledge, so that on race day, we know exactly what projects are planned and which have funding, what is happening and what is not happening, and we can track it all the way down the implementation process. So, how can the HDA help you? We help provinces and municipalities to set up the whole process. We provide administrative support as well as technical input and data collection to ensure everything is up to speed. The HDA offers continued improvement and advice and guidance to ensure forward planning that factors all the land and human settlement needs into the overall picture. We use best practice and learning for consistent and well-informed planning. And we can do implementation on request. For more information about how the HDA can help you with your project pipeline, please contact us.